Well, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's check on the European Nightcrawlers in my worm factory. Uh-oh, we have an escapee. Let's go back in there, buddy. Every once in a while, you'll have one that just wants to do his own thing, and they can be stubborn like that. But look what they're doing. They're eating this paper that I had put here. So let's check and see how they're doing. They're doing great. I see a lot of the bedding is turning into castings. Let me just put this over here. And we're gonna have to put another floor in. So tomorrow I'm gonna have to go get the second floor. And as you can see, it's definitely turning into casting. This was corn. And it's a little drier than what I like. So look at them over here. They're all hanging out in the corner as usual. You know, they love to hang out in corners. They're nice looking worms though. These are European Nightcrawlers. As you can see, they're breeding because look, there's young ones in here. Young ones. But they're doing great. So I don't have any food scraps for them today. But I am gonna water this down because it feels kind of dry to me. And we're gonna give them some of my worm chow. But meanwhile, let's fluff this bedding up a little bit. Okay, I had to get comfortable in my chair here. It's important to give your worms oxygen. If your bedding gets compacted and squeezes down and it's moist, it's gonna go anaerobic, which means they're not gonna be any good. It'll rot in a bad way. And I don't know about you guys, but I've smelled an anaerobic bin and it is the most horrible smell you will ever smell. But to avoid that, just make sure you fluff up your bins, make sure they have bedding, and make sure they get oxygen in there by doing this. Just stick your hand in there and go like this. And this is how you fluff up a worm bin in order to have good airflow in there. And the worms will be happy. You'll be happy because they won't go anaerobic, and then your worms will be happy. Oh, look at that one dancing. Hello. Look, he's so annoyed that I touched him. Hi. So they're doing great though. All right, I'm gonna wet this down and then we're gonna give them some worm chow. I did find a couple of pieces of construction paper lying around, so I ripped it up and I put it in here. But as you wet your bin, you know, give them some water. And this is mosquito dunk water, and this is how I do my best to prevent flying insects. As you wet it, just start like mixing it in. Mix it in, get that wetness to spread so that the moisture is all evenly balanced. And the worms love that, because the number one thing that will kill your worms, guys, remember what I told you, is lack of moisture. Lack of moisture will definitely kill your worms. They're resilient, but you gotta help them out. Really gotta help them out. Look, they like to be down here by the wetness, see? See how they hang out at the bottom because the wetness is down there. All right, I'm just gonna give them this paper bag. I'm gonna bury it. That way it could get wet and they can start eating it. So let's get some worm chow and put it on. My worm chow already has grit mixed into it, because when I make my worm chow in my machine over there, I mix in oyster shell, and sometimes I put place sand in there, so that acts as a grit. But worm chow is only for surface feeding. In my humble opinion, that's what I've always done. When I have mixed my worm chow into the bedding, I ran into problems. And not everyone does it this way, and you do it your way, whatever way you want, but this is the way I do it. And I've always had success doing it like this. So I just go like this. I don't bury it in there, just on the surface. And the bedding was wet first. Always wet your bedding first, then add your worm chow. And then what the worms will do is they'll come up from underneath and they'll take the worm chow and bring it down and take care of it. So that's why it all disappears like fast at once. It all disappears at once, if you notice. It's not like one little section of worm chow will disappear and then another one. No, because the worms all come up from underneath and take it down. And you know, it's a great way to supplement their feeding when you're composting in one of these towers. Now, if you're feeding food scraps, you don't have to give them worm chow, but maybe as a little treat once in a while you can, because they really enjoy it. And always remember, guys, when you feed worm scraps to a tower like this or any kind of bin, always bury it, because you will get fruit flies. It's guaranteed, and that's a pain in the butt. You don't need to be dealing with that. So anyway, all right, so press that subscribe button, guys. Give me a thumbs up, share my videos, watch them. I really appreciate you all, and I will see you all next time. Take care. Well, I fed them their worm chow. Now let's peek underneath here and just see if we see any, because the last time I looked here, some of them were hanging out down here at the bottom. And look, they love to be down here. I don't know why, but I know that that ladder allows them to come up and down, so I just leave them alone. I don't mess with them. I just leave them, and it'll be okay. So we're just gonna leave them. I'm sure once they all sense the food, they're all gonna start coming up, and it'll be chow time. So anyway, guys, let's keep on going here.